We're back.
Yeah, and we're still on the topic. I mean,
Yes,
we're still because we're still coming off of the voting and stuff, and it really gets me.
You pick your battles, because if you pick the wrong battle, you're going to lose the war.
True.
And I think that's what has happened quite a bit. We're picking a battle that you're not going to win because there's too many people with interest in the battle. In the battle that we want to win with like gun control, there was a podcast I saw last week, which was kind of interesting. And it was a news commentator was making the statement to former President Trump that guns are the number one cause of death in the United States or in the world. What was it? I think it was the world. And President Trump turned to somebody, he says, look that up. And we aren't. We are not number one in killing people with guns in the world. We're down. So what does kill people? Cars can do it. Knives can do it. Normally, if you look at it, the guns are not at the top of it.
And as far as mass shootings, I mean, they say that they're really down. I mean, they've been publicized so much because they're in the media.
Yes.
But they don't have the mass shootings. I mean, that's what I have been reading or hearing as before and stuff. So,
and the idea is some people have no concept.
And somebody who's out there is not going to like me for saying that, but it's true. I mean, I'm not for all this, but we glamorize all this so much and stuff, and it's the victims that need to be, not the shooter. But there are things that could have been done, maybe, but.
And the concept of assault weapons.
People don't even understand what
they
assault
do not.
Weapons are.
Oh, that's an assault. It's an AR-15. It's an assault weapon. We cannot own in Virginia a fully automatic weapon. Semi, which means you pull the trigger, one bullet comes out. It feeds another one automatically. You pull the trigger, that one comes out. The only way you want it rapid is you have to pull that trigger each time. Fully automatic is not that. You pull the trigger and it'll unload the whole magazine. So one trigger pull and could be 20 bullets in that magazine. We don't have that.
But they say, but AR also, didn't it stand for the maker of the gun as well?
Yeah, and
I mean,
it looks like it's like this black thing. It's like, it's a weapon, but it's just the look of that carbine. We have the same similar rifle, which just looks like a rifle, and it's got the same type of bullet. No one would call that an assault weapon because it doesn't look like it. So appearances again.
Well, appearances, and it's also fear. Fear is running a lot of these elections because there's people. My husband hunts. I've been around it and everything, so I have a knowledge of it. But me not being the great hunter myself, I mean, and not actually using them as much as like. That'd be me. I could tell you something about a kitchen tool more than I can a gun.
Mm-hmm.
But my lack of knowledge could put fear.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
And so, fear is running. And all you have to do is insert fear in anything. And then all of a sudden somebody's going to automatically, I don't care what subject it is. It's fear is going to rule. And that's what people are going to concentrate on because the possibility it could happen. Well, there's no 100% certainty in anything in life other than you're going to die at some point. At some point you are.
Observe, folks.
I mean, there's always. I mean, because even if I were to say, I mean, I could tell you anything, but I wouldn't be able to tell you with 100% certainty this is never ever going to happen because that'd be the day it did happen.
That's right. It's not.
A plane's not going to fall out of the sky right here, Joanne. We're going to be fine. And then that could be the day
That Fort Pickett or Barfoot drop something on us.
something happens. I mean, you don't know when a plane's going to go overhead and something go wrong. And so if we lived our life in constant fear, but if you look at the statistics of it happening, they're not there.
That's
I
right.
mean, it's not, the likelihood of it is not going to be there.
That's right.
But we don't look at things that way. We let our fear rule us instead of trying to conquer our fears.
And that's education. You have to go out and get educated,
And
find out about it, get them.
And you have to be proactive with it. You have to say, I'm not going to let this bother me.
Fear is basically something that you don't know, because you don't know what's beyond that. And if you're afraid, I know people. Oh, yeah, I'm afraid of guns. I'm like, that is a piece of metal.
Mm-hmm. My knife in my kitchen can hurt you as well.
And very quietly.
I mean,
no one will
have
hear
you
you.
ever seen a mandolin? A mandolin can cut your fingers.
Ooh, yep, sure. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but it's yes, but you're right. I mean, it's
get a good paper cut.
But guns themselves, they don't lay there generally and just go off.
No, it's like, yeah.
It's
And you can hunt. I mean, an AR can be used for hunting. I was watching a clip a podcast of The View, and Behar was saying, well, you can hunt with an AR, but you can't eat the meat. It took me a while.
I think I saw that one.
Did you? It took me a while, like, oh, so she thinks it's fully automatic, so you make ground beef out of whatever it is you're shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't eat it.
But see, again, it's the concept. Everybody they have tainted it so much what an AR is. So that everybody thinks an AR is one of the and that's not an AR, correct?
No, it's not. I'm sure the military can get fully automatic. We cannot. And this is what they don't understand is automatic and semi-automatic. That's like driving an automatic car in manual shift. And so the in-between would be like the semi-automatic, because you have the little funny now that you can pretend you're shifting without the clutch, But automatic transmission, it just shifts for you. You don't have to think about it. We as gun owners cannot own that unless we have very special licenses. Why would I want it?
But if you wanted it as a collector, you should be able to buy it.
As a collector, that may be fine, because I have some things that I bought because they're collectors.
Yes, I mean, you saw it and you liked it.
And I'm going to put it away because it's valuable.
But I mean, I don't see why you can't purchase that I don't understand why you can't purchase that. I don't get it. I don't know why people are upset that you might even own one. People don't need to own one. Well, they don't need to own
cars either. You could ride a horse if you want. I mean, you don't need to own anything that's special. Why do people own special china that they eat on? Do they need it? I have Corral. Corning Corral's good for me. It's like, you see, the point is, yes.
And I mean, my husband and I have these conversations because I did not grow up in a gun owning family. So my perspective
is different.
Is a little bit different.
Well, I didn't either, my family.
So when we got married and stuff and having guns in the house, it was different. Mm-hmm. So you are, I mean, and then when you have kids and, you do look at things a little bit differently, but he has, like you said, educated me. And then I also had to make it be proactive
And learn how to.
and overcome my own fears.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and that's why most hunters, most people that own guns, they go out and practice.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, then I mean, and then they know what they're doing, and they're not out there just laying things like up on the dashboard or doing this. They're very careful.
I
I
mean, when we
mean,
were kids, and my family didn't, but my uncles would hunt. So there were guns in that part of the family. My father did not. There weren't any. But we always played cowboys and Indians and had little toy guns. I did. I grew up in a neighborhood of all boys, so basically that's what it was. And I like to shoot. It's fun, and I like to hunt boar. Deer don't really do much for me. Rabbit I sort of like, if I could get one, because I like to eat it. See,
okay.
they're going to think that Ash is really strange. Yes, I am. I have mixed interests.
And that is perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's yeah, and
But you have to practice.
you do have to practice. You have to have the safety. I mean, like I said, that was one thing that has always been taught is safety.
So, we'll digress a little bit. My husband helped me clean the house Saturday, and it's black powder now,
Mm-hmm.
right? We know there's a buck that's in our woods. He saw it, and I think I heard it this morning. I heard a snort, and then I heard it's like, it's out there. So Saturday, he decided that in the afternoon he would go sit out with his black powder rifle to look for this buck. Not far. It's just right on the
Mm-hmm.
back tire. But he was helping me clean. And we have a loft and we have a stair up and then a landing and then another stairs. So I'm finishing doing the front room and I walk in and I hear kaboom, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, are you all right? I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't think so. So he said, well, I was going down the stairs and I missed the last step before the landing.
Okay.
And I put a hole in the wall.
Hmm.
It was more like a crater. As he was stepping and turning to go down the second flight and missed it and spun around, and his elbow went through the sheetrock. No, I'm not kidding you. It's a 9-inch diameter crater.
Well, think about the force, because I mean,
Well,
he was
yeah.
going down, so the force was.
And it was a good thing it was between the studs, because if he had hit the stud, he probably would have really
Mhm.
damaged his elbow. Instead, the wall gave, which is easier to repair than your elbow. And he hurt the muscle in his back. So now he's not doing it. Then we go out to feed the menagerie. Now we have quite a setup. So I don't know if you raise chickens and you have different flocks, you cannot mix them. They fight, and we're not in the fighting. We leave that for Mike Tyson. He can do his rooster fighting. So we have separate containers for the different age groups. We've got the elderly, the octogenarians, then we've got the middle age, and now we got the young ones. And to make life easier, we have put electric, of course, we have a roof over it, and there's electricity that goes through so we can plug in the heaters that go in their water. And we have pipes so you can just turn a faucet on and the water fills the bucket. So we got all that upgraded. These chickens got it good. So he comes out of the chicken coop because I hit my head on one of the boxes, electrical. Yeah, it's dripping blood. I'm like, oh my heavens. And that doesn't look good either. So that's 2 out of 3. So as he's sitting with his sore back, bad elbow, cut head, he goes, I don't think I'm going to go out hunting today because I'll probably shoot myself in the foot. So yeah, good idea. Best
He
not to do
he
that.
observed,
Assessed
assessed,
and
and
reacted to the situation. But 2 out of 3. No, I think I'll just sit here with the rice pack on my back and my head bandaged, and I will be fine. I'm like, yeah, not a good idea to go out with a gun when you've already had a fall, a scrape.
And then you're gonna have to hoist it up and
Yeah,
clean
that's
it and
right.
everything. So yeah, no, it's not a.
And our daughter is like, Dad, do you think you'll be able to field dress it? Because his back is killing him. He's like shuffling around. Yeah, and then I'll get the tractor. Pull it out. Good call. You got a choice. You got 2 lawnmower tractors and the big one. Pick your So yes.
But to play devil's advocate of what you're saying, but there are people in every group of society that are the bad apples.
Oh my, yes.
So yes. So are there some bad people that have guns? Yes.
Yes.
Are there some people that they don't follow? Yes. I mean, I would not sit here and say, but I'm saying that the majority follow the rules and are safe and do the right thing.
We lived up north, neighbors, and they would shoot across the road from the side of their house where they couldn't see if there was a car coming. They'd put a paint can across the road and shoot across. Now
it was the right yardage.
Yes, it's just the right 200 yards. And I'm telling you, it's probably the way they were thinking. And I'm looking at now. These are 2 educated people. He was a big wig with Niagara Mohawk, and she was a nurse. They're smart, and she is shooting across the road. I'm like, whoa. Do they realize that cars go by our house? I mean, pretty well fast around that curve.
But just because you're educated doesn't mean that you're smart or have
there's
common
no
sense.
common. Boy, see, we think so much alike. It's so funny. Yes, no common sense, lacking in that.
I would much rather have common sense than book smarts.
Well,
I mean, if I had to choose, if I had to get into a line, and it was common sense versus book smart, I think I'd rather have the common sense.
Well, if you have the common sense, you can find out any book you want.
I mean, I figure I'm going to be able to.
But this,
book smarts does not necessarily get you where you need to be. I mean, it can really, So
there's some people that
common sense. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can be well educated, but that was a poor choice, and people do make poor choices.
Yeah, shooting across the road is definitely a poor.
But I mean,
choice.
people drive their cars fast. They don't.
They drive on the wrong side of the road down here.
I mean, there's a lot of things. Like I said, in every facet of society, you're going to find the good and the bad. And if you dwell on the bad only, then you're really going to miss out on some things, because there is that in every aspect.
So taking things to extremes anyway is just not good.
But this boils back down to why one of the reasons we believe that this is not going to be good for Virginia in this election, because next year, I mean, we're not going to have a lot of people supporting gun rights.
Exactly.
So it's going to be a real fight. It's going to be it's going to be a real fight. But yet the criminals in Northern Virginia and Tidewater, they don't care. They're going to have their guns.
They don't really care.
So just want to throw that out there, people. They're going to still be committing the crimes and killing the people. So just food for thought.
They don't have safes that they put.
No, they're not sitting there going, "Oh, I should not shoot into that window. Or I should not do that drive-by." They're not. That's not a safe. That would not be safe. No, they do not care. That's what bothers me.
Yes.
Innocent lives will be taken because the criminals will still have their guns.
And the rest of us will be twiddling our thumbs. I have a sword. Do you have swords? You probably do. Does your husband have swords?
I don't know if he has a sword or not.
I mean, we have the.
But now
samurai sword.
I think he has. No, I don't think he has. I don't know if he has a sword, but I think he does have maybe one of those
machetes.
What the Crocodile Dundee. Now that's a knife.
That's a knife. Oh, I have one of those. They're like this big.
So there's
It's got a rough handle on it. It looks like somebody in the backwoods made it. It's like, sharpen it up.
but those people are going to be in Richmond, Virginia, voting on things that is going to affect our life down here, and they've already messed up they're messing things up because our life down here in Virginia, in rural Virginia, is totally different
Then up there.
than up there and on the Tidewater region. So it's today is it's just interesting for Virginia. We're just
We didn't even
curious to
talk
see where it
about the other
goes.
thing.
No, we didn't. That'll be a longer subject.
It is a longer subject. That is, well, you and I both agree about.
So
It's a subject that we should have stayed out of it because it's his subject.
you can't legislate morality, people.
You cannot. Mm-mm.
I mean, that's just like to me, and them trying to, when they make you put a seatbelt on because they're going to ticket you. Well, if you don't have the common sense to put the seatbelt on, I mean, legislating it is not really going to change that. I mean,
You know,
it's just plucks my nerve. It just, I don't know. It just.
you can't force that horse to drink the water.
So there are things out there that should not be. Yeah.
You could brick the camel. You'll suck it right.
All right.
I got to go home and clean.
All right. We'll see you later, guys. Take care.
Bye. So